I will change it to what I can take. All right, thank you. Good morning. And I must appreciate both of our past presidents for making time to join us this morning. And as many of our members that made time to also join us, knowing that it's a working day, that I erroneously thought it's holiday. So thanks so much for making time. Because it's a working day, we want to make it very quick. I would like to introduce our president to us. Some of us know them and some don't. And after that, I will be asking them just few questions. Afterwards, we would allow members to ask them questions. So you can type your questions in the chat box section, or you unmute your mic when we get to that session. Thank you very much. So I will start by introducing Augustine briefly. His full name is Augustine Harrington-Nunoo. He was the president between 2014 and 2016. In fact, in the history of the chapter, he is the only president that served 3 years as his tenure. And he is currently the head of Properties and Facilities Management Unit at GCB Bank PLC. Let's give it up for Augustine. And the second person is Mr. Albert Selom Agbemenu, PMP, is alumni member of LIMC, is a member of the PMI Ethics Insight team, and is the founder and CEO of SIG Focus. Is that how to pronounce it?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So, and he was the president between 2017 and 2018. So he's the immediate past president of the chapter. Please, let's give it up to Albert. So once again, you are welcome, and you're a humble person, volunteer, Jumoke. I'm privileged to be the host or the moderator for today's session. I would start by giving them the opportunity to tell us about themselves. Augustine, please tell us about yourself.
Okay, good morning, and happy to meet all the PMI Ghana chapter members. My name, like I should mention, I'm Augustine Harrington-Nunoo, and I have been with the chapter since its formation in 2011. I had worked with the chapter as a volunteer from the steering committee period until we got chartered in 2011. And then I served then as a VP membership. At the time, we had Dickinson as the president. So I was a VP membership until I got elected as the president of the chapter 2014. So I've been with the chapter and also been working also with the bank all these years. I think that is a brief about me. Thank you.
I think your microphone is on mute.
Forgive. Thanks, Augustine. Albert, please, can you tell us about yourself?
So yes, thank you so much. So I'm Albert Agbemenu again. I joined PMI in 2005. 2006, I started volunteering for PMI. At the time, there was no chapter in Ghana, but I was the risk liaison person for Ghana at the time. We didn't have anything, so it wasn't very effective. So 2007, I stopped volunteering. I could consider my staff, but I was still a member of PMI. And then joined the chapter in 2012 when we now had a chapter. And then, so when Augustine was VP membership, I was working under him as head membership services. And then I think 2014, I became VP membership 2016, I became VP Finance, and then 2017, I got elected president. Then 2019, I got selected to attend the PMI Leadership Institute Masterclass. 2018, sorry, and got it's a one-year program. We graduated to 2019, so that's where the LIMC comes from. So it's Leadership Institute Masterclass. Then 2020, I got appointed to the PMI Ethics Insight team, formerly Chapter Ethics Membership, Chapter Membership Advisory Group, now Ethics Insight team. So this is my third year on that committee. I may go up to 6 years. It's a 3-year cycle, so I have another term so that will take me until about 2025. So that's what I do for PMI currently. And then private life, I'm a construction project manager, mostly in the mining environment. So I have to speak. I'm doing stuff in the mining environment, and also some here in Accra for one of the banks. So that's what I'm up to. Thank you.
Thank you, Augustine. Thanks, Albert, for your extensive role, you play for PMI and PMI Ghana chapter. We would like you to please share your experience during your tenure. I will start with Albert now.
Okay. I will say so you mean as president, not as a volunteer, but generally as the president of the chapter?
Yes, please, as president.
Okay. Yes. I think being the president of the chapter has been an interesting journey. Of course, you get to meet
everybody wait and join over.
So that lets know the amount you
kindly mute your mic if you are not talking.
She said she'll send it to Jamel. I will just check on her later in the day to see if she remembered to send it now.
I'm trying to get the person. Okay, it looks like it's gone.
Yeah. So as I was saying, so it's quite interesting. Serving the chapter as president, you get to meet a lot of people, members, connections and stuff like that. Of course, it comes with a lot of fun, but also a lot of challenges, especially when you sometimes don't get to know what the challenges are until you become the president. If you're holding other volunteering roles, of course, then you think everything is just as easy as that. And we kind of sometimes take things for granted until you become the president. Then wow, it's something else. And if you're not careful, you end up doing everything that everybody else is supposed to do because people are not forthcoming. Volunteering in our part of the world is quite challenging. Sometimes, I don't know whether it's because of our culture, but people always want to get a reward, some kind of monetary reward in anything they do. And so if they are volunteering for PMI or any other organization, people want to get monetary rewards. People don't think that the kind of connections that you build, the kind of networking that you get, and people that you get to know, and the capital that you get to gain from those associations. People always think it's only the monetary term, devaluing the huge benefits that comes with networking. So yeah, so when you come to the president, those are some of the challenges you meet. You will have, but if anything goes wrong, because you are the one that's going to be held responsible, and you are the liaison between the chapter and PMI and the global body. So in brief, I'll say yes. There are high moments, low moments, challenges. Sometimes we fight, sometimes we get back to, especially board meetings. We just for the sake of the chapter, people don't know, but go to board meetings, we fight. You have to get things right, diverse opinions and stuff like that. But all in all, I'll say it's a good learning process. And for some of us who work in the private sector and business people, it also helps us shape our own businesses. So I'll say it's been a great experience over that period. That's in brief. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think you're helping to put things into perspective for our members to understand what presidents do go through. So, Augustine, please, can you share your experience during your tenure with us, just as Albert did?
Okay, thank you. My experience with the Project Management Institute Ghana chapter has been very wonderful, and I always still keep the memory serving the chapter. One of the key experiences, as Albert mentioned, is about volunteering. He rightly mentioned that our environment is not that used to the spirit of volunteering or the spirit of volunteerism. Volunteering is a great thing, and for where I sit, I would say and encourage that we develop that spirit here, especially if you're a member of the Project Management Institute. Because volunteering to serve the chapter, from being on the steering committee to the VP membership to the president, has shaped me in so many ways. As I speak with you, I have developed certain key principles which are being emulated everywhere I go. And these key principles were learned from project or PMI, volunteering for PMI. One of the principles or the culture I have learned from is about professionalism, work ethic, integrity, being responsive to time. You give anybody promise, you keep it in. These are key ethical things that you learn when you become a member and also you want to serve as a volunteer. So serving as president, I would say some of the key challenges. Some of the key challenges is the ability to get people to buy into the vision and also go along with you, because you have key things you need to do. You are in an environment where you have other professional bodies, which I always keep mentioning. You have other big professional bodies, Ghana Bar Association, Ghana Medical Association, Ghana Institution of Engineers, and all that. And you are Project Management Institute. You are hardly or barely known. So how are we able to come out for us to also be known and be accepted, even at the government level? It needed a whole work, because some of these associations have been there for over 50 years. Ghana chapter is barely 10 years, or at the time we had started, it was just in the infancy, a year or two. So it required that the people that you are working with, who they are not being paid, every volunteer is not paid. You use your own money to do everything. How you're able to get them buy into the vision, inspire them to deliver and achieve the feats that PMI is gotten to today. It's an incredible thing. So I would say, I believe even as of today, I don't know whether it has changed, that volunteerism is still a challenge for the chapter. And I would end on my experience by saying that let's leave the profession. Let's leave the profession. This is a professional institution. If you're a member of the institute, one key thing that is required of you is professionalism. You have no choice. Professionalism. Everybody must see it on you, whatever that you do. And I tell you, people that will be watching you are far from those that are around you. And that professionalism goes a whole long way. It affects your work conduct, your attitude, everything that you do, because you will gauge it to see whether it matches the spirit of professionalism. And I believe that if members of the chapter or volunteers at every point wherever they are, they're able to think and know that whatever I'm doing, I must exhibit professionalism. It will help in a long way, because this is the only professional institution or association that has membership across every other professional body. We have members from the medical institution that are members of PMI. We have members in the engineers institute that are members of PMI, members in the agric, members in education, members in even the forces and all that. So we are in a unique state. And when all these people come to join us, the least they expect is to see that professionalism exhibited in us. And that differentiates us. So I think from my experience, I really took the professionalism seriously and all other ethical conduct also. And it has shaped me in my private and my professional life. Thank you, Jimmy.
All right, thank you, Augustine. I hope people are taking notes. I wanted to take notes, but I realized that I will not be concentrating on my wonderful panelists. So I hope people are taking notes so that we could actually learn one or two things from these great professionals that we have as past presidents. I would also want to ask you to describe the state of project management awareness currently compared to when you were president. Let me start with Augustine now. If you can compare the state of awareness of project management currently compared to 2014 to 2016 when you were president.
Okay. Currently, I think there's so much improvement because when we started, when you talk to anybody about project management, the first feeling is that they felt it's a construction work. They felt it's a construction manager, and they would not see that project management affected you, whether you're in the healthcare sector or whether you are in the IT or you are also in the food and beverages or aviation. So it was quite difficult during that period to even get people to buy into that project management cuts across everywhere. And that with the skills that you develop here, we are able to use it irrespective of the sector or the industry you are placed. So then and now, I think there's a great improvement. Considering I heard about the numbers of members as of which is over 1,000. It is a great feat because I think at the time, I can't remember, but it should be around 2 something or 2 to 300 or so. I mean, we started from one, so to be 1,000, because places like South Africa and Nigeria, they had South Africa, Albert, maybe you can correct me on the date, but they've been there for over 20 or 30 years. Nigeria too has been there for, I think, over 20 years. I mean, these are old chapters. But PMI Ghana chapter, I don't know the levels and the numbers of this South Africa and Nigeria now, but Ghana had been on the third in Africa as of the time we were exiting. And the numbers were being close. And I believe by now, in terms of the awareness, I believe by now you've crossed 1,000 because it took Nigeria, I don't know whether they have crossed, decades before they were able to even get to 500 and 600 when we were there, when we were around 200. So if we are barely in our 10th year and we have crossed 1,000, that is a great feat. And that tells me that the awareness is really doing well. So that is what I have on then and before awareness.
Thank you. The unique thing about the two past presidents we have now is that at one point in their volunteering journey, they've been VP membership. So they are actually the right people to be asking this question. I mean, to talk about membership for the chapter, the growth. They are in a position to be able to do the comparison with other chapters. So, President Albert, can you please describe, from your point of view, the state of project management awareness now compared to when you were president, 2017 and 2018?
Yeah, so thank you very much. So first of all, I'll start from where Augustine stopped with the numbers. So yeah, as you rightly said, South Africa was the first chapter to be chartered outside outside North America. So you can imagine, so they are over 35 years old, and it's been difficult for them being able to get towards 1,000 or even cross. I think Nigeria should be about 50 years or so old now, and I'm sure they also be hovering around the same 1,000, if not a little over. So Ghana chapter crossing 1,000 just within these 10 years is a big feat, and we must congratulate the current team for the wonderful work they're doing to double the numbers. Because when I was living, it was around 460 something. So to get to 1,000 now, I mean, it's a great feat. So congratulations to the team. Yes, so again, going back to the profession, where it was and where we are now. Between 2018 to now, it's not too long a time, but I'll say when I joined PMI in 2005 in Ghana, I was working on a project with Dr. Boy. I see he's online. And in 2005, we had a project manager. We were working on a resettlement project, so construction and moving of people, livelihood restoration and stuff like that. We had a project manager who was not a construction person, but an anthropologist. And we were wondering, how could someone from this background, managers, run this huge project? But of course, he did run the project, and it was very successful. So that's where some of us started having this, this about, hey, this profession will be something else. So that's where I attended my first session with Joshua Oda, and then came back. Hector also said, "Oh wow, this thing let me also go." Then he also followed up, and so that's where we traveled all the way. We were able to travel to where we are now. Fast forward, working in the fields, it's always been a struggle working with architects and engineers. I come from a construction background, so working with architects and engineers, when you come and say, oh, okay, you have been appointed as a project manager, they should be the ones leading the construction, the building, the building environment projects. So if you are building houses, then of course they think the architect is the best one to be the project manager. So when you come from a different background, you see you are becoming the project manager, then it becomes a struggle. You face a lot of fights anyway. So those days, I think even 2018, it was still a struggle. We still struggle to get that recognition. Today, fast forward to today, looking at the projects I'm working on 3 major projects, and fortunately enough, I have chapter members on all 3 projects, and we roll out very well. It's very, because before you end up being the only person from the industry, from the chapter being a project manager or being a project person. But today, all 3 projects, like the one I'm working on in Accra, the project manager from the client side is a chapter member, the project manager on the consultant side, and then the contractor side are all chapter members. Myself being an employee rep, I'm also a chapter member. On the other mining areas too, we have chapter members there. So we kind of easily click. And people see us understanding, rolling well, kind of encourages others to also want to join. Then they get to see the sense of, the specialty in the profession. So that is where we are. So I think we've made a lot of inroads as a profession to this stage. And so from my own experience, I think we've come a long way. And looking at how the numbers are multiplying, giving ourselves maybe within the next 10 years, again, we've talked 10 years, the next decade, I think we should be able to be, making serious impact in the industry, especially where we need to work at the hardest. I think it should be the public sector, because the public sector is where I think the system is failing us. So I think we need to put in a lot of energy to deal with that sector, so that once we are being recognized in those sectors as well. Because after the private sector, I say now we are making inroads. Once we're able to make the same in the public sector, then of course we may be heading somewhere. So those are my small contributions.
Great. Thank you so much, Albert. On a lighter note, before I open the floor for members to ask their questions, I have worked with the two of you as a volunteer, Albert and Augustine. Can you maybe in few words let me know, or let the members know, how it was working with Jumoke as admin assistant or secretary or VP volunteering? Let me start from Albert.
That one it's a tough one, you see. Anyway, of course, and then as I did mention from the outset, that the things that we need to go through to get things rolling, just because of the our own common goal for the chapter. So yes, it's been a very wonderful working team. We most often get to have interesting sessions. A lot of time when we travel, we do a lot of traveling as well as volunteers. We attend leadership institute meetings. We've done a number of travels, South Africa, I think Dubai and elsewhere. And it's, we fight, we party, and we do all the things. And then board meetings, chapter board meetings, people come with diverse opinions, and we are also supposed to come to a common goal to move the chapter to the next level. So sometimes in having these deliberations, yes, we go through a lot of struggles, a lot of fights, a lot of frustrations. But at the end of the day, we are still able to make a headway, and for the betterment of the chapter, we find the common goal. The majority carries the day, and then we move on. So it's not only in the business boardrooms that we fight. Volunteering boardrooms we fight, but we don't take them far. We finish fighting, and some of us go back to drink beer together and stuff like that. So,
and of course, I remember Dubai, that your brother and his wife hosted us, the team from Ghana. Unfortunately, I couldn't drink most of the things you drank. But
you see.
Okay, so Augustine, how was working with me as admin assistant, secretary, VP, volunteering? Tell us your experience.
All right. So Jimmy was first from secretary of the chapter, then became the VP volunteering. But I'll pick it from the angle of when we were VP volunteering. And being VP volunteering, I always will say that I take the VP volunteering role as the chief of staff, meaning that every other person, even the president, is a volunteer. And we are all volunteering to achieve something. And even though they are all VPs, the chief of staff must ensure that everything that is required of a volunteer to deliver, their performance, every issue is being looked at so that we are able to achieve our objective. And Jumi, frankly, she played a very wonderful role. And the wonderful role, I say, is that I used to use the word as being my shoulders and my neck, because when an assignment or a task is placed on her, she won't miss it. In fact, you have a whole lot of things to deliver, and the pressure she herself will mount on me, the president, that we have to deliver this, you haven't done this, you haven't done this, the time is coming, why do we do it? And I was so impressed with that, because all those things made us to be able to achieve certain great feats at the time. Because I started by mentioning the spirit of volunteerism, which is quite non-existent in our environment. I hope by today it is good at the chapter, I don't know. But during the time, just a few understood the spirit of volunteerism. So putting people to hard tasks was quite difficult because people will tell you that they have their main work to do, they do not have the time, they can't combine this and all that. Meanwhile, the work too has to go and has to be delivered. You can't come to chapter members and tell them stories because the profession doesn't teach us stories. It teaches us performance. It only looks at delivering solutions, no excuses. So if we are the helm of affairs and will come and be giving excuses to members, then we are telling them that that's the nature of the profession. We couldn't do that. So we had no excuse and no choice than to deliver. And though Jumi, as I mentioned, that she will be very, very strong. In fact, we got to a point that volunteers assessment had to be done. Performance reports had to be done every month at the board meeting. Our needed objective way to assess the performance. And I remember she coming out with some one strong report that almost brought a whole fight at the board meeting. Albert, if you remember, scoring some people 0 and all that. And it was a major thing to be able to manage that that meeting at the time. But to that extent, I mean, to the extent that once there's a task before her, that task has no other excuse than to be achieved. And that was one of the great things that she was able to exhibit. And I knew that even being the president now, I know she's still exhibiting those things. You see, the whole thing is about where you sit. Albert mentioned that if you are just a volunteer or a member, you think everything is just okay. But when you wear the cap as president, everything changes immediately. You have no excuse and you have a big job to deliver, especially where we sit as project management professionals. Being a project management practitioner or professional or member distinguishes you from any other. The name alone sets you apart, and you have no other choice than to leave that name. So I think for Jumi, working with her, I believe other volunteers will also say it. She was strong and firm, and that's the only way we're able to get certain key things to be done.
Thank you so much, Augustine. So now the floor is open.
On the other, Jimmy, if you remember, Jimmy was my roommate when we were in Orlando, Florida.
That's true. That's so true. I'm sure people are wondering, roommate? Yes, yes, roommate. Okay, so I see a hand. DB, can you hear me?
Hi, Jumoke, Danny here.
Oh, Danny.
Hi, Jumoke. Hi, Albert. Hi, Augustine. Very nice to hear your experience as president. I'm Danny Biabeni. I'm the president for DRC chapter, PMI DRC chapter, and it has been a module of NDA that I've gone through in this call. Thank you very much for the experience. I have just one question that I wanted to get from you. How do you manage a volunteer who has been elected, but who is not delivering? I mean, purposely or because he's just overwhelmed by his day job? What were your specific and personal? You are 3 presidents, and I'm sure you have met
please,
this.
Please, I'm the moderator. I'm not answering questions today.
You can't escape this question. So I want to hear from you. What were your your own thought solution when you meet such a volunteer. I mean, he has been elected, so you can't just decide like this to dismiss him and to put him aside. Thank you very much, because this is a permanent experience in volunteering in Africa. Let's put it like this, because I heard from Augustine that you are having kind of similar experience as in DRC and other chapter. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. Albert, Augustine, who wants to go first?
Okay, let me try. Good to see you, Danny. Danny, we've met a number of times in regional meetings. I think even global ones. Yeah. So I think for us, PMI Ghana chapter, our bylaws kind of takes care of that. There's a clause in the bylaws which, of course, after appointment, there are other clauses that takes care of performance and then what happens to people who are at large and stuff like that. So there are a number of times that you are mandated to attend meetings. There are certain targets minimum targets that you're supposed to meet according to the bylaws. So if you're not meeting those targets or those attendance, meeting attendance and things like that, of course, then it falls on the VP membership to draw first of all, deal with the situation, and if it's getting out of hand, draw the president's attention, and then it's brought into the board meeting, and the decision is made. If the decision is made that, per the bylaws, you've not satisfied certain things, and you have to be let go, you will be written to, and that is it. Warning comes, and then after that, you are let go, because if you are not able to meet what the bylaw says, it's just fair enough to let somebody else come to take up the mantle.
Thank you, Albert. Augustine.
So in other words, stick to the bylaws. Huh?
Yes, because that's the only document binding us. So make reference to that. It's a fair deal.
Thank you.
Okay. If I can add to what Albert mentioned, I would advise that.
No problem.
I've stated earlier that.
All right.
Please go on, Augustine.
I've stated earlier that the profession that we are in is performance-based. You took up the role as a volunteer, and all the job description or the performance requirements were listed before you, and you took it up. My advice to other presidents or other volunteers or anybody wanting to take up leadership role, especially in the chapter, and especially as we are still volunteering, my advice, my personal advice, is that 1, the bylaws, as Albert mentioned, is your guide. 2, you should, as a board, you should be able to develop other regulations and governance instruments. So I think there's other one. The bylaws may not be able to see everything. So you have a board handbook. You have some other information that should also shape and guide you. Then you use all of this. Don't be afraid to fire or to let people go when it is necessary, because that is what I have noticed is the main problem for most people or most presidents. They are afraid to take certain bold decisions, and that goes to hurt the whole chapter and goes to hurt your whole leadership. Because if you have one person who is handling whichever role and is not performing, remember that role also impacts on other roles. And if that role is not performing, it also affects the others. And the others will definitely also come down and ultimately affect the performance of the entire chapter. So my advice is that It is better to have the few that are delivering the results than to have those that only are interested in the title of the position. That I'm the head of this, I'm the vice president for this, I'm for this, for that. Holding the positions and putting it on their labels without delivery. Never entertain it. Be strong in taking such persons out because they are not there with the spirit of volunteerism to perform. Also, if there's persons that genuinely have issues with their work because their work load has changed. I mean, the profession also allows that such persons, I mean, from their own end should come out clean that based on the workload I'm currently having, I'm unable to do as required because perhaps the time he was signing on, such limitations were not there. So if that happens genuinely, let them go and and get others. You have a principle that says the 80-20 rule. It is very effective. It is very, very effective. If you think you need the whole numbers before you can perform, it is not so. Mostly when you dip really down, that 80-20 rule is what is really happening. Those are really the ones delivering the work. Don't allow those that are not performing to continue to hold positions that will affect others because you can have people who will look at their colleagues that they are not performing. I am performing. There is better we also relax. And that is how it eats gradually to affecting the whole body. So my advice is that let them go. If you found somebody who is not performing, he's not living the ethics of the profession. The profession has no excuse for laziness, has no tolerance for non-performance, has no tolerance for failure. In fact, when you go to PMI or you go to the system, NASA and co, who have been using some of this system for decades, it is about precision. There is no excuses. So if you have come into this field, put it into your heart that the field you have come, this is how the brand requires performance based. You are just delivering. You are just executing without excuses. So my brother, that is what I can leave with you.
All right, thank you, Augustine.
President, I want to talk up a little.
Okay.
Just a 1 minute. Yeah. So yeah, to add to the tail end
it's so
of
nice when you get someone like Albert calling me Presido. Oh,
it's you. And then our own code of ethics and professional standards. So even without going to the bylaws, the code of ethics and professional standards, tells us to do what exactly what Augustine just talked about. Sometime 2009, 2020, PMI carried out research to how people are following the code, the code of ethics and stuff like that. The numbers that we got from Africa, the score that we got from Africa was very low, which tells us that we in our part of the world are not sticking to certain professional standards. We just go for the certification, sign of the code of ethics and professional standard, and we just tick that box and then we think we are good to go. But just ticking that box or sending onto that entails a lot. So if you are a certification holder or a member of the institute, then of course you are supposed to stand or go by those ethics and professional standards, but at all costs, all times, and once you are doing that, definitely you are definitely not going to hold people back or definitely not going to be on the board and not performing. If you're on the board and you're not going to have time, the code tells you that, be fair to the people. They come back and say, look, because of ABC, they're not able to continue. Then you step aside and let others continue. So that's just a little that I wanted to add to.
Thanks so much, both Albert and Augustine. And Danny, I hope you've gotten something from this, because I am not answering questions today. We may talk on another day, but not today. But I see one of my brothers on the call. He was once the president of PMI Nigeria chapter and the regional mentor for Region 16, and he's currently a board member of PMI, Mr. Ike Nwankwo. Ike, would you want to say something?
That is by Oga.
Jumoke.
Yes, sir.
I didn't even know my name was showing. I wanted to purely listen in to presidents and the talk behind that. So it's good to hear what people are saying. So did you have a question for me?
I said you listened, and we are talking about the profession and volunteering and all that, and I was wondering whether you have something that you would want to add to it.
I think both Albert and Augustine have said it all, but I think one thing to bear in mind, and they've mentioned it, is that to volunteer is not easy. It's a mindset. So anybody that is interested in volunteer, just remember that it's a mindset, and then you if you have the right mindset, then you'll be able to volunteer properly within an organization and within PMI and within your chapter. If you come in with the wrong mindset and the basis that it's an avenue for personal, should I say, personal benefit, and there's personal benefit, but personal benefit in the sense that you're not doing it for the profession or for the community you serve, then it is not the right place for you. So that's one thing to bear in mind. And the other thing about if somebody's not performing on a job within the chapter, the first thing I always say is just have a chat with the individual. Remember that most of the individuals are volunteers, and then things can happen in their private or personal life that doesn't necessarily equate with, and they don't have the should I say right feeling to bring out that particular issue. So step one is always just have a chat with the individual, explain why they're not performing, and then take it from there. But the basis is that we're all volunteers, so have a chat with them first, and then from there the bylaws, ethics, and everything can step in, and of course the board itself has powers as well to decide what's next to do. But remember, take that personal touch as well when looking into non-performance of a volunteer. And PMI is a lovely place to be. It is lovely to volunteer. Albert said about having fun. We always have fun. You get to travel a lot. We network a lot. It is just extremely fun. And then can you imagine having fun in the profession you love, and you can do the two together and then give back to society? You absolutely cannot go wrong doing that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ike. And the next stop is in Nigeria in September, where we'll be having the PMI Africa Conference. And all I want is roadside buka amala with ewedu, Ike. So
no problem. I must mention that I gave me a serious treat last month or 2 months ago when we met in Orlando. Super.
Right. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, then you owe me one.
I'm sure we have the Ghana chapter here. Ghana and Nigeria are brothers and sisters. So I'm sure that the Nigerian chapter and all Nigerians will happily welcome you guys to Nigeria for the Africa Conference, and we shall delve, dig, dive, and everything needed whilst in Nigeria.
Sure, thanks. Frank, I see your hand.
Yes, good morning, Jimmy. Good morning, Albert, Augustine. Good morning, everyone. In fact, I'm enjoying myself from my base in Tamale. I'm supposed to make a trip to Nairobi this morning, but I had to stay back in order to hear from our big bosses. So by way of information, just so we put it in the right perspective, as of today, membership for Nigeria is 1,119. That of South Africa is 1,073, and that of Ghana is 1,057.
Wow.
So I'll go straight to my question. I would like to find out from both seniors. So maybe Jumi, you can regulate that. What would they do differently if they were the president?
Okay, so your line is breaking. I'm assuming you're asking what would they do differently if they were to be president today?
Exactly so, Jimmy.
Okay, thank you, Frank. Please, who wants to go first? I think Albert went first for Danny's question. So Augustine, your turn now.
What I would have done differently, frankly, I haven't thought about it. Maybe I would say what I would have loved to join, what I would have loved to add. That is, but I'm happy that most of the things I would have loved to add on are being done now. And that I think I am most happy about. At the time when we're exiting, we had a whole lot in the heart and in our plans to get PMI Ghana chapter. The main focus was that PMI Ghana chapter to be the leading bank in terms of everything about project management. Everything that is done everywhere in the country, any initiative, any approval, any decision, everything you can think of, irrespective of wherever it is, it has to be implemented. If it is not implemented, it stays on as a plan. It stays on as a policy. For it to be implemented requires the engine called project management. And that is where we are placed. And that is where I was looking forward to. That everywhere will buy into that project management and use it. So our members and all other people will realize the need. Decision makers, corporate organizations will also realize the need that before we can implement and achieve our goals, the engine of implementation lies with a body or some professionals called project managers. They apply the skill of project management and deliver value solutions. So I was looking forward to getting this everywhere. And I know it is also being done now. So I feel happy about it. But I know gradually it will sink to every community, every industry, and all that. So, Frank, that is my what I would have added on. I wish to have done.
Thank you, Augustine. Albert.
Yes, so for me, I had okay. So I had the opportunity to attend the Leadership Institute Masterclass, and having gone through that process, I thought everything that was being taught there was meant, I mean, to come back and be lead a chapter. Going through that process and then now not being where I was supposed to utilize that. If I had given the opportunity, I think what I would have done is to encourage the other VPs or people who will be due to become president after me to go to that process. I mean, most often it's only one or two that is being picked from Africa. But of course, we keep trying, encouraging people to try and go through some of these or these processes so that when they step into the shoes to become presidents, and of course they come with that PMIism, that PMI knowledge to be able to serve the chapter much better. I think a lot of the time we come into the even though we attend this LIMS, Leadership Institute meetings and stuff like that, we are still not too very well equipped with the things that PMI requires of us to do. And I belong to another organization, the Rotary. Before you are meant to become president, I mean, the system says you need to go through a certain kind of training. If you don't go to that kind of training, you never become president. So we elect our presidents in waiting. So if you're elected president, then you have the time to go to that training, and it's meant for the key people that will be coming onto the board. Those 3 key people. So when they go through that process and they become president, then they are well equipped to go to to manage the organization. So I think, given that opportunity, I would encourage people working under me to go through some of these processes, so that when they get to their time, they're able to run the show better. Of course, with you being there again as a past president, if you have the time, you're able to also support. But at that point, your voice is less, but you're able to also provide some guidance. So that's what I would say.
All right, thank you, Albert. I see our current region mentor, Mary Fury, online. That is for Africa region. Mary, would you like to say anything?
Hi, Jumi. Well, firstly, I want to brag that I can still say Akwaba to everyone who's on this call. Right. I think really what I've just got to say is a word of encouragement to you, Jumi, as the current chapter leader. I think you're doing great. And also kudos to the previous presidents, because I know it also takes so much work to lead an organization and actually witness it grow. And now you guys have over 1,000 members. So I think that's great. And it also contributes to the works that they did before your tenure. And Jumi, you're also doing well together with your team. So keep the fire burning, guys. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Noble, I saw you. Noble, are you still on the call?
Yes, Jumi, I'm here. Good morning to all of you. Jumi, hi, Albert, and Augustine. Augustine, it's been a long time since we met. I'll say that let me introduce myself first. My name is Isaac Nubobaini. I've been with PMI for some time now. I'll say I've been part of the past, part of the present, and I'm still going to be part of the future. I just have a question for both Albert and then Augustine. What was your greatest challenge as president of PMI Ghana? That's all I want to know. Thank you.
So I would say for me, my biggest challenge would be, we come into office with certain dreams. Of course, the organization has, vision that we all follow. But every president, of course, comes with his or her own, vision as well. So the biggest challenge is how you're able to sell that to your board. For everybody to get buy-in. Because if you don't get that buy-in, of course, then you must know that you are almost heading towards failure, because people will not support what you intend to do. They must now have to come and adopt something from the board. So being able to sell your vision for that period is what I would say is one of the most difficult things. If that answers your question.
Thank you, Albert.
I guess yes.
Your greatest challenge.
All right. My greatest challenge, then, I would say, at the point where I had to let one key volunteer go, was a difficult decision, because this volunteer was wonderful in many aspects. But there was one other aspect that at a point I thought was really lacking. And it was a difficult thing to let him go, even though it's like we didn't really want it to go. But the it comes back to what I had mentioned earlier, that you get to a point where you have no other excuse but to deliver, which is the ultimate thing. So you look at the ultimate picture where you can't come back to the chapter, you can't come back to the brand you are working for, that you are failing in delivery. You understand? So because the ultimate picture is before you, sometimes you face some of these difficult challenges. And then one of mine was I had to let one very wonderful person to go at a point in time. That was my difficult challenge at the time.
Letting one wonderful person go. Let me quickly give some background. At this year's AGM, we presented to the members how our bylaws look like. So when you elect board members, they are actually wearing two caps. They are serving as the board of directors that will come up with strategy for the chapter. And this same set of people are going to run the operations. So as I sit here as the president, I'm the chair of the board. The same person is the president and CEO. And so we have been having this discussion. I think we had this discussion for the first time, 2015 or 2016 at Eburi, where the then president, Augustine, suggested that we need to separate powers for good governance, where board members that are elected, we focus on board functions, and then we have those that would handle the operations. And so we presented this at the AGM, and we had the people, the members that were present, to vote that do we want to maintain what we have currently, because what we have currently is overburdening, is not making people that would actually do better as board members setting strategic to stand for the positions, because you want to be a board member, but you are not ready to be handling the day-to-day running of the chapter. And so we presented this to members and they voted in support of separation of power. So we are in the process of finalizing these bylaws, where we would encourage members that are knowledgeable, business-minded, understand how board is run, to stand for election. PMI's election is very simple. You don't need to campaign. You just write your statement, your picture, and members get to vote. And so these ones will set the strategy where they want the chapter to be in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years. And then the appointment, as we are usually doing, will be done for the other roles. But the difference here is the board will now elect or appoint the president. And so the president would have to speak to the strategy that the board would put in place, at the direction they want the chapter to go. So a member that wants to be the president of the chapter would present how he intends to achieve this. And then it becomes the responsibility of the board to appoint this president. And it becomes the responsibility of the board to check and ensure that the president is delivering on what he and the board agreed on delivering. We are also proposing, there will be a steering committee that will look into this. We are also proposing that the president plus at least 2 people be given, we can't say salary, but kind of allowance, which will be tied to what they are able to bring in terms of revenue from membership, sponsorship, and all that. So the transition team would meet and actually set the tone. And once that is done, election will be held for board members differently. It's not the board member that will still be VP of membership and all that. So once the bylaws is approved by administrative office and then to the GHQ, it will be passed to members to look through and vote for its acceptance. So some of the challenges that Danny made mention, that elected board members, because it can be overwhelming. I'm not wearing any wake up. If I showed you my gray hair, these 3.5 years that I've become president. Charlie, if not that I've been Jimmy, I'm sure I would have aged like that. It is stressful, especially when you are focused on achieving goals and making difference. And you are doing this with volunteers that have their 8 to 5 jobs. It is challenging, but we are grateful that to have like-minded people that want to see changes. We have people that belong to GHIE, Ghana Institution of Engineering, and they keep comparing the chapter to these bodies that have been around for decades to us. Ghana Institute of Engineering, they have paid staff that are working. We don't. We are volunteers all through, so be on the lookout. And when it's time for election, please submit nominations and be elected, so that the next 5 years we will look back and say, I did contribute to where the chapter is today. But I must confess, I've loved every minute I volunteer for the chapter. I look back, I see results, I see people dedicating their PMPs to me. You helped me. When I hear stories like that, it encourages me, to keep doing the job. I keep telling people that the past president and myself, we are setting the tone for the next set of president, and that they are likely going to have it easier than we did. Okay, so I see Ola here. Your hand is up.
That is true. My hand is up. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Augustine Nunoo and Mr. Albert, my road trip man. This is Ola here from Takrady. Yes, in fact, you are doing well, and honestly, I must commend you, especially Mr. Augustine. I know you when I came in, and you have done well. So also, Mr. Albert, it's been so wonderful that you guys have really been part of the journey so far. And then to my sister, the Iron Lady. We are from the same alma mater, so no problem. I know where the energy is coming from. So, back to my question now. Looking at the structure and how we carry our things in the chapter, I could see very well that Albert is very active. Most times there's a place I used to meet Albert, in WhatsApp group. He's been so very active. But I've not been seeing Mr. Augustine Nunoo. I've not in any way seen him in the chapter. So this now brings my question that in what capacity are you guys been involving in the chapters? How have you been coming in to be of help? That's my first question. Then the second question is looking at PMI as a whole. It's a very big space, big organization, and which people like us are also aspiring to get there. So what space are you guys occupying now in a PMI as a whole? Because we want to see you there. So thank you. That's my question. Yeah.
Thank you, Ola. I think Albert actually mentioned what he's doing currently with PMI in his introduction, but probably he missed it. So maybe you go over that.
Okay, so thank you once again. Yeah, so as we did mention, time, availability is one key thing that we said, if you accept to do something, then you should be sure that you are going to devote that time ethically to do it and do it very well. So if you're not going to get that time, then of course, then you don't come and waste everybody's time. That is one key word. Of course, but for what I'm still doing for the system. So for PMI, I'm still volunteering for PMI, so I'm a member of the Ethics Insight team. And we not less than 20 hours every month working for PMI on matters about on ethics. And so 20 hours alone for PMI and a month is not easy. And me and you, both of us at Rotary, you know, you are president now, I'm P, so P, you know what is going to happen. My time there as well, more than 20 hours, so already 40 hours going. And then my own job as the managing director of my company, you can imagine, and I have tons of people working under me. So the time, you know, the time constraints are so, you know, tight that sometimes it becomes very difficult coming to this some of these meetings. The WhatsApp groups and those ones, sometimes you read certain things. You sometimes want to have some fun, or want to release stress, or want to share ideas. It's easier on the WhatsApp group. So that's why sometimes you see me on those platforms, you know, doing that. But otherwise, that is what it is.
Thank you, Albert. Augustine.
All right, Ola, for me, after exiting as president, I did not continue with PMI. But on the issue about WhatsApp group and what you are doing to support the chapter, personally, it is true you don't find me on the WhatsApp groups, but that doesn't mean that behind the scene, I am not engaging the president. When Albert was president, it's the same. I was engaging him behind the scene. The same too for Jumoke. So for WhatsApp, not seeing me, it's not intentional, but I normally don't come there. I am more behind the scene.
Okay, you are more behind the scene person. Okay. The next hand I see is Ishmael. If you have question and you don't want to talk, you can leave it in the chat session. Ishmael, please, are you on?
Okay. Yeah, thank you, my president. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
Yeah, I must first congratulate all the presidents for their hard work they have done for the chapter. May God bless them. Now, my question goes to them. My question is that what can they describe as their bad day as a president in their office, as they are in office?
What can they describe as what?
As a bad day for them while they are in office.
Over to you, gentlemen.
So this one seems to be different from what Noble asked in another way, right? Anyway, but for me, I would say a bad day will be when we have heated debates in board meetings. Those ones, chapter members will not want to see some of those ones. It's to put a chapter, you know, in the right course. We sometimes go to that extent. So sometimes we go and we come back and all the energy is gone. You know, you're like, oh wow, is it worth it? You know, kind of. But yeah, so those are some. I would say some of the bad days being a chapter leader. I mean, when you have to argue so much with your very good friends, people that you know, and then you get to that point. The only thing that doesn't happen is you don't throw blues, but it gets so hot. And yeah, so those ones, you know, you come out and you're like, no, it should have been, it never should be, and you know, that kind of thing. You feel bad, and that is what it is. But it's all for the chapter. Right.
Okay. Augustine.
For bad day, I would situate it to one major event. I think this is a point where we had the Ghana National Project Management Conference in 2015. And then we had also bidded to host the African conference, which we won the bid to host here in Ghana. And we are working with the whole team. And as a president, you put your trust in all your team members. I've had a very bad day during that period. One, you put in all your efforts and you get to realize that either some of them or somebody and then had a personal motive. And that personal motive set us apart. Personal motive as financial set us apart greatly. And it was a really bad day for me when some of these issues came out. And I got some of information that had been spilled out. Unfortunately, I had to resign as the chairman of the Africa Conference at the time, after almost about a month or two to the event. I wouldn't want to mention a name, but it was to that extent that somebody or person that you've been able to bring this thing to the country would have such motives. And being at a certain level, also be able to influence people to have a certain understanding. Well, I exited and I made my position clearly known to PMI. So if you talk about a bad day, for me, that is what I would reference as a period that I take it as a very bad day.
Okay, Augustine, thank you. You actually brought memories, but I think I was part of this. I was the conference project manager 2016, but I've learned, and I keep saying I should write a book. And I've also realized that there is something that Lorato, that used to be VP event, used to say, that when you see two people fighting, don't ask what happened. Ask what happened yesterday, because sometimes there are issues that you may not even be privy to. But one of the things I said at the International Women's Day was that has been helping me as a volunteer is choosing my battles. So I weigh issue, even though I was going to resign and you convinced me not to resign, then later you resign. I've learned to choose my battles now as I'm matured, as I'm aging, almost to my golden jubilee. And look at the larger picture, the larger benefit, which is the chapter, which is your legacy, what you will leave behind. In fact, it is one of my motivation, what I'm going to leave behind, because most of the time when you are holding position, people don't get to see everything you are doing. It was when Professor Atamils of blessed memory died that people started appreciating him. J.J. Rollins died, people started appreciating him. Kwame Nkrumah, when he was alive, people fought him all over. It was when he died that, but I wish you would appreciate me whilst I'm alive. But when you are holding the position, people don't see because of perception. And until they get there, as Albert said, rightly said, they may never even know what you go through. So, Augustine, I know how painful that was. And I'm using this platform to apologize on behalf of the entire team. But I must say that you have been a great support to my leadership, my tenure. You've been there. Even when you don't have time, I'm able to call you at any time of the day. I know you say I'm troublesome, but Charlie, I need every energy, every input from the past leaders to help, because it's about the chapter and it's not about me. So I must commend you on that, what you do behind the scene. But I would love to see you out there, because you're a very brilliant young man that the chapter, the region, and the world can tap into for the benefit of Ghana, Africa. So we'll have a conversation after this, and hopefully after that we get to see you more, just as Ola has said. And Albert said something. I've had several invites to join Rotary, to join the other one. And I have personal friends that feel that my energy as a volunteer for Ghana chapter would be good for Rotary. But just as Albert said, I don't have that time. I have put my personal journey in terms of education. I was saying that I want to have my PhD by the time I'm 50, and now it's not attainable because I had to put it on hold. I couldn't combine it with running the chapter. So it is also time, ability to manage our time and all that. So I would like to commend and really show my appreciation to volunteers that are even on the call. I saw Faisal, I think he had to drop. I see Frank. I see Irene. I see Ishmael, who is a volunteer under outreach. I see Auntie Jane. Auntie Jane is a retired medical doctor that when we need and we call her, she would volunteer. It was through her that we had our first health screening exercise, and she was able to bring Dr. George Mensah, who is also one of our matured members, that we are planning something for them. We just want to have some nice time with our 60+ members very soon. I see who again a volunteer that you're on the call.
Your quiz master is on the call.
Emmanuel Amankwano.
Yes,
Emmanuel
Mr.
Oh, Emmanuel Amankwano was my student. What year was that I taught PMP 35 contact?
2012.
And now I'm excited. If you ask me about a facilitator, is the first person I will tell you when it comes to PMP. I'm so happy that I was part of his journey. And as many volunteers that are on call, I see Mr. Charles Japon. This man was so kind to carpool us from Tetekwashi to Eburi when we went for our health walk. I see Mr. Aruna Nelson. He's always calling to encourage me behind the scene. I think he's also a behind the scene person. Mr. Aruna Nelson, would you want to say something?
Good morning to everyone on the call, and good morning to Jamie. You just said that I'm a behind the scenes person, but you try to put me. Yeah, Albert will tell you that I'm a behind the scenes person. I always speak to him behind the scenes. Now that you put me on the spot, yeah, let me say that it's always important for the new generation to recognize what the old people did. We always do not recognize our old people. And we think that we just look at the current situation and we think that it is us who have been able to achieve this. I think that, I believe that Jimmy will know that she and the current team are not the people who worked to the 1,000 for us to get over 1,000 members. As the people who were able to bring together 1, 2, 3, up to the 100, up to the 200, they did the struggle, they had the struggle, and they did very well. So let me say a big thank you to Augustine, a big thank you to Albert, a big thank you to those who were before them for bringing us together. It was so difficult at those times for us to have even meetings. And so for us to be able to get to 200 and now over 1,000 is a big achievement. We recognize their contribution. Thank you very much. As we are happy to have them, we'll be very happy to see them at meetings too. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aruna Nelson. I actually wish this session was an in-person one where I could get to hold them and hug and take pictures with them. But I'm hoping that very soon we would have that. I also see Jewel, who is a volunteer under membership. She has such a beautiful smile, and a result-oriented volunteer. Thank you all volunteers on the call. Is there anything, any questions, suggestions that any of you would want to give us before we end?
Madam President.
Yes.
President, okay, so I serve to some of the projects I do have a PMI. I can see two of my clients here. One is a member, one is not a member. So Mabruk Al-Hassan is a PMI member, and then we have Rhoda Yeboah also on the call. She's not a member, but I hope, I haven't gone through this session, she works together with Mabruk in the same firm. So I'm sure Mabruk will be able to now convince them to become a chapter member.
Oh, nice. Rhoda, good morning, and we are welcoming you as our newest member on the way. Rhoda, would you want to say something to us?
Oh, Albert, how can you do that to me?
Rhoda, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Please yourself.
I'm very excited today. I'm sure I won't get anything done today. Just getting these two men on the call today, it's awesome.
Yeah. Mabruk sent me the invite to join, asked me to listen and think about it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's good joining to see what the PMI team is all about and the achievements you are all doing to help others on the platform. A great place to learn also. So my mind will be made up today.
Okay. So I pray that your mind is made up towards you becoming a member. In Jesus' name, I pray with thanksgiving. Amen. Thank you so much for joining, for making time to join us. And I would like to quickly talk about our conference. It is the largest event we hold as a chapter in a year, and it's 2-in-1 event, conference and awards. The awards, sometimes people think they have to be members to nominate. It's open, whether you are a member or you are not a member, to recognize consulting firm as consultant, project manager of the year, project of the year, PMO of the year, manufacturing company project of the year, telecom company project of the year, bank project of the year. There are 13 categories, and that is separate from the conference. However, when you register for the conference, it covers the conference itself and the awards night. And you can also register for the awards night only. It's 500 Ghana cedi when you go to the website. And the conference, we are bringing awesome speakers where you get to network like-minded, and it's a 2-day event. If you have not registered, the early bird ended March 31st. The regular registration would end at the end of this month. All rooms at the venue, Peninsula Resort, are all taken. People have registered and paid for the rooms. The closest hotel to Peninsula is Volta Hotel, and the rooms are almost also all taken. So I'm encouraging members that are yet to register to please do, to avoid challenges when it comes to room. Now, if you are unable to attend in person, you can attend virtually. It's 200 Ghana cedis. If you attended all sessions, then you can get your 12 plus PDUs. If you don't, you only receive PDUs for the sessions you attend. We have booths that we are giving organizations or businesses to be able to exhibit and sell what they do to the delegates. So you can get in touch to get the sponsorship or the packages we have so you can be part of this awesome event that the chapter is organizing. So last word, anyone with last word, question, comments about the chapter event, something that you need clarification on, this is the time for you to do so. Everywhere is quiet. Okay, I see Emmanuel. Emmanuel, let's hear you.
Yes, thank you very much. I think this is a very great occasion we have had today. It's been a long time speaking to Albert, and I think Augustine same. So I want to thank you, Madam President, for arranging such a meeting, and I believe that we will have similar programs in the near future where we get people who are experienced, who have gone through volunteering, sharing their challenges and experiences and how to deal with such when we also find ourselves in such positions. So well done, and thank you all very much.
Thank you, Manuel. Thank you. Mr. Charles Japon, do you have anything to say? Daniel Loman is like it's been a while. Anna, I'm the one that feels so.
It's been a while, but I'm happy I joined this meeting. My spirit is renewed and more active now.
Okay. Thank you.
President, I can see Theodore Odro.
Hey, the first branch for Kumasi. Also for Theo, are you there?
Hello, Jumo.
Hi.
Yeah, this is Charles Japon. I think I'll take this opportunity to congratulate the board and then all the executives and to urge you to do more. Well, we sit at the background and we know you are doing really well. And I'm just also happy that COVID is down now, and then we can have a lot of in-person events. So let me take this opportunity to congratulate you for the good work done. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just a reminder, we'll be having our meeting on Friday at Alisa Hotel. 5:30 to 6 is for networking, and the meeting starts 6 to 8. And we are having a very interesting topic bordering on fraud, mobile money and using your mobile and all that. So it's a good learning avenue for you to come. It's only 30 cedis for member and 50 cedi for non-member. And if you are joining virtually, it's 20 cedi to join. So make a date on Friday. And later this evening, we will be having a session celebrating African Union. Oh, forgive me. Happy African Union Day. We'll be having a session that is organized by the region, that's PMI Africa. I made the regional mentor, Mary, talk briefly earlier. She was kind enough to come up with a committee among the presidents, and they've organized something for us. I shared the link with us, I think last week, for us to register for that session. So I would encourage, if you have not registered, to please do so. The meeting starts 5:30 p.m. GMT today. And then we have our chapter. Sorry? Danny? Okay. Is it not 5:30? Mary, is it not 5:30? Hello, Mary, are you there? All right, I will share the link with us. Okay.
Hi, Jimmy. Yes, it's 5:30 GMT, correct.
Good. And it's today, so please join.
Yes, I'll just share the link in the chat as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you all for joining. Looks like we don't have questions anymore. Okay, someone just said something. Can you talk briefly on the process of joining the Ghana chapter? Oh, very, very easy. Joining the Ghana chapter, you go to pmi.org. Okay, there is a misconception. People feel before they can join the chapter, they must write PMP exam. It's no. PMI offers two services that are mutually exclusive: membership certification. What you need to become a member is by paying your annual subscription fee, which is $169 the first year. And the breakdown of the $169 is $10 handling fee, $129 PMI global membership, and $30 Ghana chapter membership. You can't be a member of the chapter without you being a member of the global body. And how do you do this? You go to pmi.org and then you click on membership. It's a drop-down menu and you select become a member. And then a page opens, you have registered user here, and then you have another thing. It's like the screen is divided into two. This half registered user, and this half down the right half is join PMI. You click on it. Once you click on it, another page opens where you will be asked to create your username and password. Once you do that, it opens and then you provide your data, your name, email address, your telephone number, your title, then brief questions as to check your experience or your exposure to project management. Once that is done, it takes you to a page where you are to pay. You see $139 there and somewhere to say find or join a local chapter. You put Ghana there and then the $139 increases to $169. And then you proceed to payment using your debit or your regular ATM card. Once the payment goes through, you receive a congratulatory message on the screen, and as well as in the email address you provided whilst registering. Voila, you become a member. And then we get to add you to our WhatsApp groups as well as our mailing list. And then we carry you along. It's exciting responding to calls and WhatsApp messages of our members because we see it as value that we give back to our members to make the journey easy for them. And there are a lot of benefits when you become member, but you have to take the initiative. And if you need support, we are there. There are lots of information on the website, the pmi.org and the pmi-ghana.org. And we have volunteers here that are willing and available to help you in your journey. So, Mr. John Kube, I hope I've been able to answer your question on the process of joining the Ghana chapter. And it's been an exciting journey for me. I became a member of PMI 2010 and the chapter 2011. And I was privileged to be at the first meeting held at Workers College. And then from there, we moved to Anglo Good Ashanti Guest House. From there, we moved to Assemblies of God Guest House. From there, we moved to Holy Spirit Cathedral. From there, through the push of Reverend Moses, stated that forced all the board members to contribute 1,000 Ghana cedis each. We are not paid, but this man said we should still come up with 1,000 Ghana cedi each. And that was how we got money to pay for the first few months. He also used his network to get us a good rate with Alisa Hotel. And that was how we moved to Alisa Hotel. And so that necessitated us charging the 30 cedi and 50 cedi to be able to have money for subsequent months. And so that is how we have remained at Alisa up to now. We had a volunteer that came up with an awesome idea how we are going to get land and build houses, offices. We haven't done that yet, but we still believe we can get there, that where the Ghana chapter would have its own office. So maybe the next set of volunteers, we get that done. So we have our office at the 5th floor golf house at Shiashi, where we have chapter cloth, t-shirts, mugs, pin book for sale, so you can pass there. Yes. Any final comments? I think we've done well with time. We are still within 2 hours. And if there's anything that you had wanted to say but you couldn't say, you can send email to info@pmi-ghana.org, or you send me a WhatsApp message and I will send it to this handsome and beautiful gentlemen, past presidents that we have. It's exciting. Looking at their faces, I'm remembering things like meetings, like, and when we are together, they take care of the few females. Usually they are more and they take care of her. So thank you, Augustine and Albert, for making time today. And I really appreciate knowing fully well how busy the two of you are, and you have given the chapter about 2 hours of your time. I'm not taking it for granted, and I'm hoping we will get to do this in person, probably maybe at the conference or at one of the chapter meetings where members will be able to, especially the new members that don't know you physically, we get to have a feel of you, probably take your card, make some referrals and all that. God bless everyone who made time to join this morning's session. This is even an odd time to have meeting, working day, and we got up to 73 in attendance. I'm so happy and proud of our chapter members. God bless you all. In the absence of any question or comment, we'll say that the meeting has come to an end.
Thank you very much.
So as you exit, let me just play you one of my favorite songs of Burna Boy. Hey. So enjoy your day. I guess shake your body, Albert. My energy, I get time for no enemy. So you pay one little.
Yumi, I guess that was the pre-meeting song you were playing, right?
Sorry? Yes.
I think that was the pre-meeting song you were playing, and you forgot your microphone was turned on. Okay, Jimmy.
Thank you.
All right.
I guess at least Albert waved his hand. You to shake your body small.
Augustine is a gentleman. Oh, that's nice.
Do like this. Do like this.
Joey. Yeah.
This is how I worry them. This is how I worry. So like now I'm last baby, so you don't have any choice than to pamper me, kind of. Augustine and Albert, you have to be checking up on me. Jimmy, how are you? What do you need? You know, that kind of thing. Are you people? You've not been doing that.
You see.
Should I get you some mangoes? Should I get you some banana? Some apple? Oh, I'm just coming from the village. Should I get you some pona? You know, things like that.
No, Ghana Wahala is becoming too much. And you look at the flooding, and PMI Ghana has done a lot of work on this flooding thing.
So how do we really, as PMI Ghana, how do we significantly plug into this? You know, like to find solution, not just talking.
I understand there's I had a call from Innocent Kudu this morning. I understand there's a lot of debates going on that at the University of Cape Coast. I mean, on their radio. So maybe they are reigniting it from that side, and it will soon get back to us, and then comes a national debate again. Okay. It's sad the way people are still dying when a lot of work has already been done. And
But you see, what I'm saying is, apart from debates, apart from us talking about it, you know, like, how do we come up with possible solutions? Because as for the talking, we've been talking about it for years. How do we move on?
We've done a lot. We've done a lot of work, a lot of documentation, a lot of design stuff. We had a workshop in Belgium. We had a workshop in Luxembourg with all kinds of people. We've done a lot of design
I know
stuff.
the project managers without borders did.
Yeah, PMI Ghana chapter and PMI without borders. Yeah. So we did a lot of simple engagement. We engaged the National Development Planning Commission, the former chief of staff's office, NADFO, the Ghana Institute of Engineers, all kinds of people. We had a lot of stakeholders, a lot of input from everybody, and that is just gathering dust somewhere. We had a University of Delft also from coming to do a lot of they live in water, so they've lived with all these things.
So can we pick that document and see how we can make it relevant? Because this is crazy. 2 days ago.
This one, for example, when it could do, as I just asked him to, so I've sent him a bunch of those documents again to look at, so that that can help them in their discussions. Then it will come back to national discussion. It was about 2 or 3 years ago. It came up again. I had some conversation with some people in the powers that be. Going forward, somebody just said, so if you do this, how much are we going to get? And I said, people are volunteering time, this is, you are interested in what you get out of it. Then to go then it's okay, then let's forget about it. Then it's stop there.
That's the unfortunate
it's just thing. Political will. It's not easy. And people are dying every day anyway.
It's sad. It's sad. It's sad. I went to church yesterday, and because of flooding, we were actually closed early so that we all get home safely. So it's challenging, but we won't give up because we know that we have something that can help. So I think we just need to re-strategize. When we're talking about coming up with the PM Act for government to buy into it, we were told that no, the approach is wrong. You can't go straight like that. You have to walk through maybe key people behind the scene, and then the political figures, and then they will lead it. But the moment you come as a professional body, they would fight it.
Yeah.
They would fight it because they will not even give it enough time to understand what you are talking about. They will just fight it. It's unfortunate.
We'll get there one day.
Amen. All right.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Most welcome.
Right,
bye.
Hello, please. Is this meeting still ongoing? I'm not hearing anything, so I just wanted to confirm if there's any. I'm having challenges with my audio.
Hello, I think the meeting is over because myself, I can't hear anybody talking.
All right. Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.